on the Texas A&M Sports Network from Learfield. Live from Rudy's Barbecue on Harvey Road in College Station. Welcome to the Aggie Diamond Hour with Trisha Ford. Brought to you by 44 Farms, the official beef of Texas A&M Athletics. And by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit rudys.com to find real Texas barbecue near you. Now, here's Matt Simon.
Howdy, Ags. Welcome to Rudy's Barbecue, 504 Harvey Road. It is the season premiere of the Aggie Diamond Hour, featuring our head softball coach, Trisha Ford. Season premiere means it's here. We're done. Yep. The summer, the winter is over. We're here. With the head coach, Trisha Ford, again, Matt Simon with you here. We'll talk Aggie softball for the next hour. Scheduled to be here with us if they're done with practice, so they'll make their way over here eventually.
I went all the way to 5:30 today.
I figured you would. Yeah. It's the day before the game. That's
before.
Why I'm happy you're here.
Got to get it all in.
Ariel, Kowalewski, Kennedy, Powell, KK Dement, Mya Perez scheduled, so we'll talk some Aggie softball with them as well. And you'll have to apologize for Trisha and I as we're doing the show. Yes, we have the men's basketball game. We're going to probably have to keep an eye on that as well, as the Aggies are at Alabama. Let's start there just real quickly about you guys, and I know you guys are locked into all the other stuff as much as you possibly can. You've got that game on while you're working on film and all that too.
Yeah, I actually texted Mark Weaver the other day. He's just signed the number 2 recruiting class, which I think is huge. Tana from Equestrian just came by the office to look at some TVs that we just installed, and I just think overall we're a very tight group. It's what makes Aggieland so special. Obviously, Bucky had a really big win on the road earlier last week. I don't know. All the days, it's softball season, so it doesn't really matter. But I texted with him, and he's been great. So I just think we have a good group of coaches that really want everybody to succeed.
Your story to the media yesterday I thought was hilarious about, I don't know if maybe fans heard what you said when you said that it was the South Carolina game when you guys threw out T-shirts and then some of the kids happened to run into Coach Elko.
Yeah, so we're walking out of Reed after we'd thrown the T-shirts, and I was going back to the office to go film prep, right? That's what I do. And Coach Elko drives in, and our girls go crazy. There's like 8 or 9 of them. It's a good solid group. And he was wonderful. He laughed, and I was giving him heck because I'm like, how come they don't get this excited when they see me? And he's like, my guys don't get excited when they see me. So he was great, gracious with his time. They ended up, I didn't say this earlier, but he took a picture with them. They kind of fangirled him. I was like, I don't know what's going on right now. So I tease him now. I'm going to send him some text messages always referring back to that moment. It's in my pocket, in my toolbox. Yeah.
Exactly. Right now as we sit, we are less than 24 hours from the start of the 2026 softball season. I know every game you love being out on the field, you love competing, but and I may have asked you this last year, there's something special about opening day, isn't there?
Oh, it is, and you get excited and nervous, and you should, right? It's like the beginning of a new era, new year, and just excited to see all the work that you've put in, and what are some things that we've done a really good job of preparing them, and maybe some things obviously that will pop up that we need to address.
We'll get kind of into the detail of the team because I kind of like to lay out for fans, who's maybe new, who familiar faces, but just kind of a broad brush maybe. What's kind of the generally speaking kind of the feel of this group? What's kind of your overall, what you've maybe seen out of the fall, kind of coming into the spring? Every year's different, right? I mean, every group is different, even when you bring a bunch of people back.
I would say young and refreshing. And we have obviously some seniors and some transfers that are seniors as well. But we they're a very, very tight-knit group, and they really want us to do well, and they want each other to do well. And so I think you have, people like Mya Perez and KK Dement who had great years last year. You have KP who's, hold down third base for us. We have Taylor Pinnell that came in, and she's a senior but a pitcher, and so we got some leadership pieces that I think are going to be really key that are older, but we also have some, I would call them superstars that are young, and they're developing and trying to, work through their greatness in that process.
That's one thing as I was kind of prepping for the start of the season. It's interesting because it's easy to say, man, they lost a lot from last year. But as you really start to dive into it, yes, you did lose some, but you bring back, and several of them are sitting right over here, and they'll be on later, but you bring back some huge pieces. But you had to – it was an interesting group, I think, because you had your veterans, you had your sort of like the ones that have been around for a long time. But you also had to throw some freshmen and some young kids into some big key roles in high-pressure situations. I always remember the scenario in the regional where you gave Lessentine the ball. You're like, all right, here you go. Bases are loaded. If she doesn't get an out, the season is over. Like, how much you can't have more pressure than that. But, this one over here, KK Dement, the Frankie Vrajels, the Kate Munnerlands, and on and on and on. They didn't just get sort of scattershot time in an SEC schedule. They got some big-time experience.
Absolutely, and I spent a lot of time with Lessentine, so I'm hoping that this year it pays off of just in her ear constantly of like, hey, you feel this situation, do you see what's going on, what about here, and just talking a little bit about life, but a lot about just how to handle situations maybe differently or, how I would like them to be handled. And so I think she's done a really good job. I think Peter's just being healthy has been huge for us, and she's starting to get really comfortable in her skin. KP just walked in. She's tired of facing Sydney Peters. Although Mya, I think Peters is having nightmares about her. So,
I think most pitchers have nightmares about
of Mya. Yeah. I think ours are as well. They're like, when do we get to face other hitters? And I'm like, well, in about 24 hours, so that's good.
It works out good. Well, it's funny because you'll hear football teams talk about that, and you'll hear basketball teams say, oh, I'm just tired of facing each other. Football players will say, oh, going up against our defensive line, it just makes us that much better. That works in all the sports.
Yeah, there's not a more prolific hitter in our game than Mya Perez, and so I keep telling Peters, these are great opportunities for you to figure out how do you get a really high-level hitter out. These are great opportunities for you to learn how to set her up, how to not pitch her when you don't need to pitch her. And that's the conversation I've had with Mya as well is, hey, if I'm on the other team, I'm maybe not throwing to you in this situation. So you have to take your walks. You have to make sure that you're not trying to do too much. And we had a very frank conversation that I feel like in the fall, she tried to do too much. And, now I think she's in a really good spot. And, I just want Mya to be Mya. I think she's pretty good, and so I just want her to continue to be Mya. And I just said mature in the box, and it's not her process, it's her understanding what the situation calls for.
Yeah, and I would think, too, as you no hitter is going to know Sydney Peters better than the kids that she faces all the time in practice, right? But that can maybe replicate, I would think, into the game, wouldn't it? Because there's so much film now, and everyone knows what everybody can throw. And so really that's got to kind of, I think, sharpen the mental part of the pitching game, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you're going to play a 3-game series, and there's going to be somebody, pretty close to Mya Perez in that lineup. And so how do you address that? How do you attack it? How do you attack it on not just at bat 1, 2, or 3, but at bat 7, 8, and 9 in the weekend? And I think that's key.
Yeah. One thing I did want to ask early, just because it will be a talking point, just for the first week or two, is, the end of last year, as disappointing as that was for you guys, I get the impression that the team has long since put that in the rearview mirror. Maybe there's some motivation there, maybe there's not, but it's got to be a national talking point just for a little bit. But how did you guys handle that maybe in the off season?
Yeah, I think every one of us that are here tonight and everyone that was part of the program will tell you that it was heartbreaking. It was probably one of the hardest losses that I've, encountered in my coaching career. And so it took a while, I think, for all of us to digest it and kind of, get through it. And there were so many good things and so many things that that program, that team elevated this program to a very different level that, we definitely should celebrate. But also that was last year. And I think, at the end of every season, I take a good look in the mirror of what did we do really well? What are some things that we didn't do well? And we've adjusted. And I think, our workouts look different. There's things in the pitching bullpens look different. There's things, defensively, offensively. I think that's really what our job is to, address the elephant in the room. And we didn't finish well last year, honestly. And I thought we had some good fight offensively. I thought that, we, did some things really well, but, we needed to clean up some other areas. And so that's what we were doing. But I do think that this team is very different. It feels very different from last year. They are, I always tell them, I want you guys to be really close and on the field and off the field, and they are. And now I'm like, okay, but I want you to go take a position now. Like, you have to learn how to, like, marry the two. And so, it's been good. I think it's going to take us a little bit to kind of find our rhythm. I think we're going to work through some things, but I think in the end, we're going to really get to a good place at the end of the year. You
always talk about chasing greatness and, being great. And that's really when you talk about growing from a season, great or, whatever, that's what the great teams have to do, right? And staffs included and players included. You can't just kind of rest on what you did the year before. Yeah, and I think the other thing is we now are a program that every year we should be a top 10 and competing for a national championship. And I think when we took over, that was not the feel of this program. And I think now anybody who is a part of our program, Coach Heff has worked really hard on our 26 recruiting class, and our 27 class is great. And I think that's what we're building here. And so there's, pieces and foundational pieces that were set, and now it's time for us to continue to build up. Yeah. All right, just getting started here on the Aggie Diamond Hour. Again, coming up later on the show, we'll hear from several of the Aggie players. We'll kind of get you set for the 2026 season. 4:30 tomorrow against Abilene Christian, 7 o'clock Utah State, and then the Aggies will play at 4:30 on Friday, 4:30 Saturday, 9:30 in the morning on Sunday. Much more when we return to Rudy's. This is the Aggie Diamond Hour from Learfield. Join us at Davis Diamond this Friday at 4:30 when the Aggies take on Providence. Take advantage of our Aggie Meal Pack offer. 4 general admission tickets, 4 sausage wraps, 4 soft drinks for the low price of $35. Deadline to purchase is tonight, so you got to kind of make that decision pretty quick. Visit 12pan.com/promotions to lock in the Aggie meal deal before it's too late. Lock in the Aggie meal deal like our producer Kevin Menchow did. He will be there on Friday with the sausage dogs and the tickets and the drink. That is a good deal. Now I kind of want one of those. I don't have to wait till tomorrow. That's going to have to be. That sounds good. Are you signing up for one of those? In between. I'm going to pull rank. I know people that run the. There you go. We'll see if they can let me in the building. So it's the Aggie Diamond Hour here at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road. A reminder, tomorrow the baseball version of the Aggie Diamond Hour with Michael Early will be at 7 o'clock. Andrew Monaco will be here for that one, so come on out here to Rudy's. And we sent Andrew to Tuscaloosa tonight, and so he will be here tomorrow night. The Aggies in Alabama going at it right now at Coleman Coliseum. We'll keep an eye. We told you we're going to keep an eye on this game. We're locked in. It's pretty good right now. It's a one-point game. So far, so good. And then we're going to have 2 more of these. We'll have one in mid-March and one in late April. We'll have the dates on our website at 12man.com. I want to talk to you about maybe the kids that are coming back. You did mention some of that as well. Several of them are here already. You're bringing back KP. You're bringing back both catchers, multiple outfielders, including the ones that maybe saw the most the time of the returners, and Frankie and Kelsey. KK's back. She's slid over to position, and of course, Mya Perez. That sort of core group, and that doesn't even count the pitchers. Look, we made it this far into the show without. Well, we talked about Peters. We talked about Peters. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But what do you expect out of that group? And maybe it's different individually, so you don't have to go through the whole group. But from a leadership standpoint and experience standpoint, as they bring in some new kids, you're going to be counting on some young kids again this year too. Yeah, I think honestly KP is critical for us. She's somebody that has been here for 3 years. She's somebody that's a high-level athlete that has just won at a high level her whole career, as has Mya Perez and KK Dement. And so I think those 3, it's going to be critical. The one that I'm really excited about, though, is we get AK, in maroon and white on the actual field. It feels like it's been 5 years since she's been here and hasn't been able to play. And that kid, what she brings to the table is her work ethic. A funny story. I'm going to embarrass her right now. I don't see her. She's not here yet. So maybe save it for when she gets here. No. I'm going to say it now. Yeah, that's good. I'd say it to her face too. But she couldn't play all fall, and so I walk into the facility on a Saturday, a football Saturday. I think I forgot a credential. Who knows what I forgot. Yeah. And AK is in the cages hitting drop balls inside because that week in practice she couldn't touch it. And I look at her, I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, I am not leaving here until I get this right. And I was like, okay, that sounds like a winner. And that's just kind of who AK is. And we actually were throwing, Grace was throwing against her, and Grace obviously is a down baller, and Grace threw a really good pitch down and in, and AK
hit it well. And I looked at her, she goes, I told you that pitch isn't meeting me again. And so that was, it was fun. It was fun for her to, just work at it. And so I think that's really what, like when I think about this team and what KK and what Mya and KP and AK bring to us is that. Like they're not very, I would say they're learning how to be vocal leaders. KK is having lots of meetings with Coach Ford about what that looks like. But I think they lead by example, like how they approach the game, how they approach their process. I think, KK and Mya probably have two of the best processes in the batter's box. And so I think those two are just teaching the young ones what that looks like.
And then let's stick with some of the new faces that we'll see, specifically the transfers. And maybe we'll talk about some of the freshmen in a sec. But the right side of your infield, so it looks like from what you've told some of the media too, KK has slid over back to her natural position at shortstop. Yep. And now your right side of the infield, Mya will, I think, be mixed in there. But you're going to see two brand new faces in Talon Edwards and Michaela Wark. And they're going to be significant contributors to your team this year. Yeah,
they're going to be huge. I think, I actually had a conversation with Talon the other day of just thanking her. Like that kid competes her tail off, and she obviously was a Gold Glover. And this is what's really cool. So when the girls usually know who we're talking to because they all talk to everybody when we're going in the transfer portal. And KP and I had a conversation. She said, I want you to go get the best infield or the best option we have to make us better. She said, because I want to compete for third base every time. Like, she's like, that's good. Like, bring Talon in and we're going to compete. And so, Talon can play second base. And so Talon now has moved. She's a Gold Glover, right? Played at a high level. We've moved her to second base, and she looks really, really good there. And just for somebody to not have that ego, so for KP not to have that ego, for Talon not to have that ego, and just say Talon's like, I just want to be coached and play at a high level. I don't really care where I'm at, on the field. I think just speaks volumes of them. And Mick is another one. Like, she's like just warms my heart. Like, she has worked really hard offensively. She's got a big bat. She's moving well for the first time, and so she's had some knee issues, and she's doing a great job just defensively of being able to move. And Mya has helped her out, and so I think the two of them, will work through of who's going to play first base and who's going to DP, and it might just be a rotation. Yeah. Nothing kind of crazy, but Mick's been another one that's just been a joy to have around. And we talk about, like when kids come from different programs, they appreciate our coaching because they feel like they maybe, just didn't get what they wanted, and it could be for kids leaving our program as well. I'm not saying that, to anybody. And our kids are just used to us, KK has been around Coach Harger since she was 10, maybe. So she doesn't take him for granted, though. But, it's kind of like I've been with you forever, and this is all I know.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things I think about your I would call it your transfer class, and it's not, I don't want to leave anybody out, but the Paisley Allens and the Taylor Pinnells, and then those two from Oklahoma State have played in 2 World Series, each of them.
Yep.
Paisley, I think they went to a Super last year, but they've gone deep. Taylor Pinnell has been very close to the World Series at Missouri.
Leads the nation in saves.
Yeah, like the experience that these kids you can dig into and pull from has got to be a huge thing.
Yeah, and Paisley is a Texas native. We've had a lot of success with getting them back to Texas, and she was highly, highly recruited coming out of travel ball and her high school career, and excited to have her back home. And her mom can now drive and watch her play, she loves that. And Taylor Pinnell, one of the biggest reasons I recruited her was what I call her insides. She is a competitor. She doesn't give any excuses. She wants the ball. And so that piece, I think, for our bullpen, I think just brings some senior leadership.
Yeah, for sure. And then in the circle, obviously, you've got the returners in the Taylor Browns, the Gray Sparks, and then the Lessentines and the Munnerlins. But from a pitching standpoint, what have you, and Sydney Peters, don't want to forget Sid, but we talked about her already. What do you like out of that group? Because right now, maybe you don't have, last year in a massive game, the ball went to Emily Kennedy.
Yep.
And this year, you don't have that yet, and that maybe that's a good thing, and maybe that's how you want to attack from the circle.
Yeah, I think we actually have more options, if I'm being honest with you. I think Peters can attack teams a certain way. I think Lessentine has a crazy repertoire. Like, she can go down, she can go up. She's got 3 speeds. She actually has 4 speeds, if I'm being honest. Sydney Peters is spinning the ball at 2,400 RPMs. Like, it looks different, and so I think, those two, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they step up. Kate Munnerlin has really progressed. She's another one that kind of came to us. In the pitching world, we would call it, like, her pitches were called the circle of death. They just didn't really, they just kind of stayed there. And she now has a true rise ball, a true drop ball. So she's able to, we all know that she has a death, I call it a death-defying changeup, and does a great job. But she's also worked on a different pitch to give herself another speed as well. And so I just think you continue to get better and grow and address. There's so much video out there. So, how are you going to look different this year?
Yeah, and you've always said that she does not care about the situation. Give me the ball. You could see it in the way she would carry herself.
Yeah. Kate's just I want to win. Give me the ball, and you don't take me out.
Yeah.
So.
That works out well. That's why she's wearing your jersey,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
All right, we will take a break, and we'll be back with more of the Aggie Diamond Hour in a bit. We will turn our attention to some of our student athletes that have made the trek over here to Rudy's. We'll introduce you to them as well. I forgot to mention this. We've got some baseball, softball schedule posters, I guess you could call it, over there. They're really cool. You guys here in the restaurant, feel free to come get some and take them home with you. They'll be at the games as well, but we had a stash over at the office, so we brought some over, so make sure you get some of those today. The Aggies play tomorrow at 4:30 and 7, 4:30 on Friday, 4:30 Saturday, and then 9:30 in the morning on Sunday, and then they're gone for a while. So come to Davis this weekend to catch your Aggies at the Aggie Classic. More Aggie Diamond Hour from Rudy's after this. This is Aggie Softball from Learfield. Softball and barbecue lovers know the perfect brisket needs the right wood. Rudy's smokes all their meats using their delicious signature rubs in 100% oak-fired pits. Get your real Texas barbecue fix today at Rudy's or on the web at rudys.com. Welcome back. It is the Aggie Diamond Hour. We're at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road in College Station. Again, a reminder, tomorrow, the debut of the Aggie Diamond Hour with Michael Early. Aggie Baseball will be tomorrow, 7 o'clock, right here at Rudy's, along with Andrew Monaco. Matt Simon here, and pleased now to be joined by a couple of Aggies here, both on the team last year. One got to play, one did not get to play. KK Dement on my far left, Ariel Kowalewski here closest to me. Thanks for coming to hang out, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we'll start with AK. Let's just start with AK. I want to know how excited you're going to be to take that field tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this for a whole year now, and I'm just really looking forward to it, really excited to get back on the field.
Yeah, for people that don't know your story, you played your freshman year. You're from Texas, from the Houston area,
yes.
I think, right? Yeah, so you play at Florida. You start at Florida for a very good team. But you decide to transfer here back closer to home mid-year. So you had to not only sit out the entire last year. She was on the team. She was in the dugout. But you couldn't play last year, and you couldn't play in the fall, I believe, as well. So that, I mean, I know you knew that going in, but that's still got to be.
It's a lot, yeah.
It's a lot, yeah. It's a lot for sure. How excited are you to kind of be able to, I don't want to say contribute because that's not really fair, because you did contribute to the team in your own way last year, but how excited are you to actually be able to do stuff in between the white lines with your teammates?
Oh, I'm so excited. Even last year I was just super, I wanted to be in the game all the time, just mentally too, being able to prepare and everything. But I'm really excited and I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. I like to do this sometimes too. KK, tell us, you see her in practice every day. You see kind of what she can do. Tell people what kind of player she is and how much fun they're going to have watching her.
AK's a great player. And, not only is she a great player, but she's also a really great teammate. And understanding, that she couldn't go and actually play in the game, and she was always kind of like what Coach Ford was just talking about, in the cage hitting drop balls, and she wasn't really even going to be on the field at all. So just knowing that she's that hardworking person and just a good teammate overall. I'm excited to see her tomorrow.
For you, what a freshman year you had, freshman All-American. I'm sure you knew coming in that you can play ball. We all knew you could play ball, but did you maybe surprise yourself a little bit last year, or is it kind of what you thought you could do at this level?
It's definitely what I thought I could do. I just didn't know if I was going to do it. And I just think just sticking to my plan and, like, trusting the process and loving the hard, I think that's what helped me get to that.
You learned that when you're around Coach Hugger for over 10 years, right?
Yeah, you sure do. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your move as you're going to make the move this year. Your natural position is shortstop, but last year you did play a little bit of shortstop, but second base is where they had you last year. Talk about, is there really even enough to think about with that move, or is it a pretty significant change for you?
I would say it's not as big of a change as me going to second base. I do think it's a lot easier for me at shortstop. It is a little different, like learning all the different plays and like where I have to be instead of like where I would be at second base. But I think people like KP and kind of like Talon and all of us like putting our minds together, and they really do a good job of helping me. And I think we all do a good job of like helping each other get situated.
I feel like the versatility in the infield this year is pretty special. Like, I feel like most of you can play multiple. You can too, but I think they've got you out. You out in the outfield right now. Yeah, but you can play. I mean, you were a third baseman, but you guys can move around if you have to, right? I mean, you can kind of stick people in whatever position on the infield.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Are you excited about kind of seeing how this infield defense comes together? You guys were good last year, but you're kind of looking forward to seeing how that plays out this year too.
Yeah, I'm really excited, especially seeing at practice or like just turning double plays and the excitement we all have for each other when somebody makes like a diving play or again like turning two, and like I just think that's gonna be really fun to see.
For you, Ariel, what was it like watching KK kind of go through that freshman year last year and all the success she had, and kind of speak to the kind of player she is as you get to watch her as a teammate?
It was really cool to be able to watch her and the whole team play, just being able to see like the mental side of the game, like looking at it in that aspect and just being able to really like buy in on all of the players really, and it's just really cool to see what she did her freshman year.
How would you kind of describe your game, and what kind of attitude, what kind of mentality maybe do you take into a game when you step out on the field?
Just really being positive, keep my head like not thinking too much, just keeping it simple, and just basically going out there doing my best.
I would feel like I haven't played the diamond sport since I was little, which is a very long time ago, but I feel like you have to be able to take that attitude in this sport, right? Because there's so much failure built into it.
It's such a mental game.
Yeah. What was it like for you experiencing, both of you for the first year last year experiencing Davis Diamond, you as a freshman, you as a transfer, but what was it like, coming from a different place that has a huge fan base and that has a lot of support, and kind of seeing what kind of special place Davis ended up being last year?
For me, like transferring from the University of Florida, I feel like Davis Diamond, all of the fans, they have your back. They like the bubble tradition is so cool. They have all these traditions that they do, and just it's really a cool atmosphere to be around, and that they have your back.
Yeah, it seemed, KK, to get even better and better and better as the year went on. Could you guys see the guys in the blow-up hot tub in center field?
Actually, we did. I think it was right when we came out to warm up. And I was like,
the regionals, yeah. I don't know if I think the fans could see it in the stands. Those guys were having a party out there for sure. KK, speak to the chemistry of this group, because everyone I've talked to, from a staff to even some of you guys, say it's a pretty special chemistry that you all have clicking here. I know the season hasn't started yet, but for you guys, you've been together 7 or 8 months by this point. What's the chemistry of this group like?
I think it's really special. Honestly, I think everybody has, like KP has a lot of experience, Talon, Mick, Mya, like everybody has a lot of experience, and I think all of us together, I feel like we're just a great group, and we're all different types of personalities, and I think when we come together, I think it's to be special.
Yeah. For you, AK, give me one of the players that wasn't on the team last year that maybe has either surprised you or someone that fans should probably, I don't want you to necessarily just leave out other teammates, right? But is there somebody on the team that wasn't on the team last year? You tell fans like, hey, this one right here, you got to watch this one.
For looking at transfers, Talon's a really hard worker. She looks good on the field and at the plate as well. I think she's going to be a really special one in our lineup.
Yeah. How much are you guys looking forward to kind of getting back in front of the fans, back and playing, and maybe playing, I know you do it in the fall a little bit, but playing some other jerseys, some other colors, some other teams.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. All right, well, we appreciate the time, you guys. Thanks so much for coming out, and we'll see you tomorrow afternoon at 4:30.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that's KK Dement, Ariel Kowalewski, Texas A&M softball. The Aggies will be facing ACU and Utah State tomorrow at Davis Diamond. We are back with more of the Aggie Diamond Hour from Rudy's after this. This is Aggie softball from Learfield. Thanks to the generosity of the 12th Man Foundation donors, Aggie student-athletes have the resources to succeed at Texas A&M and beyond. Start your tradition of support today at 12thmanfoundation.com. Welcome back. It is the Aggie Diamond Hour. We're at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road in College Station. Now pleased to be joined by Kennedy Powell and Mya Perez. Thanks for coming to hang out, guys.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having us.
You would have come anyways, right? Like, I mean, we bribed you with a little bit of, barbecue. But you probably would have come anyways, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's good. You can always just tell me that. It'd be fine. The Aggies will kick off the season tomorrow at 4:30, Abilene Christian, and then 7 o'clock, Utah State. Providence, 4:30 on Friday. That is a different time from if you'd seen a schedule earlier, but 4:30. 4:30 on Saturday against number 1 Texas Tech, and then 9:30 on Sunday against Providence to wrap it up. And as I told Coach, come see the Aggies now because we're out of town for just a little bit after that. KP, I'll start with you. How excited are you to really crank this thing back up?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm sure Coach Ford told you guys I'm tired of facing our pitchers, so I am glad to face someone else. And I'm ready to see this team in action as we come together and get ready to play ball. Which pitcher frustrates you more than any? Would you back up what she said there? Or is it all kind of equal? Yeah, Sydney Peters is a problem. Kate Munnerlin. Yeah, she's pretty dirty.
Yeah.
Pinnell.
Not a fan. Don't like playing. Don't like facing Pinnell.
I don't. Do you?
I don't like facing any of them.
None of them. Which is good for you because they're wearing your jersey because you don't have to do that anymore, do you?
Yes.
For you, KP, and Coach talked about it earlier. She was talking about leadership, and I wanted to ask you too. Last year, what kind of level of leadership you had? Because I do think you had some. And where was that, and sort of where have you taken that now that you have that sort of senior across your chest?
Yeah, so I don't think it's changed much. I think I've always communicated well in the infield. I think one of the things that I did have to change a little bit this year is making sure that the underclassmen understood what our standard was, what we were looking for, what we're trying to do. So I think I was more vocal and, just kind of bringing them in more with that aspect. But I think, I kind of had a leadership role last year, kind of like you said. But just, making sure everyone's on the same page, I think, has been the big change for sure.
From an infield perspective, I think, sometimes shortstop is thought of as sort of the captain of the infield. But really, the left side, I think in softball, you guys have so much come your way all the time. Do you kind of look at yourself as sort of one of the captains of that end, or maybe the captain of the infield, so to speak?
So I think all of us kind of have a leadership role when it comes to the infield. Playing with Coco last year, she knew a lot. She had a lot of experience. So it was kind of, we didn't really have to do much because we had so much experience. KK has experience as well from playing on the right side, but she had to move over to the left side. So kind of like she said, just making sure she understands where she needs to be, what we need to do, because I've seen it and I've been there. So I think that's one of the things that, I had to, make sure that I was making sure they know what to do.
Offensively for you, were you, I guess, a great player like you guys are, you're never satisfied, I guess, with what you're doing. But as you look at your numbers, 339, 31 RBIs, you were lightning on the base pass, causing all kinds of trouble, over 60 runs scored. Were you kind of happy for the most part, where you were offensively last year? And maybe is there something in your game that you're looking to sort of take to the next level this year?
Yeah, so like you said, never satisfied. I think I've worked a lot on my power this year and just making sure I'm swinging at the right pitches and doing whatever I can to get on base for my teammates and so they can be themselves and bring me in and do what they do.
Yeah. Mya, for you, how excited are you to get this season going? Obviously, you had an incredible season last year, but how much are you looking forward to kind of getting back out there for year 3?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like it's been a while, but I'm honestly so excited to start and play with these group of girls. It's amazing stepping on the field with them.
What about your, I would say rapid growth? We all know the player you are, but, really you can almost go back to circling that obviously the Texas Super Regional, and then last year just taking off. How pleased maybe or how happy were you sort of with what you were able to do offensively last year, even knowing that opposing pitchers are going to look at that lineup and go, that right there is what's not going to beat us, yet you still were able to beat them?
Yeah, honestly, just a lot of growth mindset-wise. Like, I just gained a lot of confidence, not really just, like, practicing. Like, obviously I did that too, but, like, more mindset. I just really focused on that, and I think that's what drove me to just continue to keep pushing and fighting for my team.
Yeah, 424 batting average, school record 73 runs driven, and 16 home runs. And maybe the most important stat was you beat the football team in a home run derby.
Oh, yeah, that was really fun.
In July. I don't know if
Thanks, guys.
I don't know if people were. I don't know if any of you guys that were here were at that, but it was so you could almost see the steam coming off her head when she the first round and kind of how it worked out, and then we've all watched her, and when she got locked in, it was go 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 go.
Yeah, I got a little heated.
It
was fun.
Got a little heated for sure. Speaking of home run, I wanted to ask you about the Home Run Derby X, because I think that's a really cool event that may have somewhat flown under the radar for people. I don't know if they were kind of paid attention to it. For people that don't know, it was a Major League Baseball sort of initiative where they paired sort of one or two former major leaguers with softball and then maybe a high-level baseball prospect, something like that. And it was a home run derby. They kind of did it bracket style. You were wearing a Dodgers jersey, which I'm not sure that Trisha Ford would like all that much there as a Giants fan. That's not going to work. But you play with Grady Emerson, who's projected to be the number 1 overall pick in the MLB draft, so he's young. And then Adrian Gonzalez, and anybody that follows baseball knows exactly who that guy is. What was that experience like for you?
It was super fun and honestly life-changing, and I really hope I do it again this summer. But it was cool getting to hear Grady's story and then also Adrian's, obviously. And then I also met Todd Frazier, which was huge, and Nick Swisher. They were all just like family. I thought I was going to be like super nervous because, like, they're famous. So I was like, oh, my gosh, I'm so nervous. But they're just like normal people, and it was so easy to talk to them and hear about their plan and kind of just like go through BP with them.
I was about to ask you that because I figure hitters love talking hitting. Did you pick their brains or get? I know the sports are different, right? Like baseball, softball are different. But were there any things you maybe picked up or that you could kind of bring back a little bit from there?
Yeah, I was asking Adrian just like how he kind of like stepped like in the box and just like he had a lot of confidence, and that's kind of like how I wanted to be, especially going into this year, just having that confidence. Baseball swings are a little bit different than softball swings, so I know I couldn't take that over here, but it was just super fun just to getting to know his story and just that confidence piece. And then Grady, he's younger, but he's already gone through so much, and he's probably going to get drafted next year. So.
Did you hear that? She's Adrian. They're on first name basis now.
Mm-hmm.
That's,
oh my gosh,
they're family.
Yeah, basically.
They're tight like that. KP, for you, how much are you looking forward to getting this group? You've seen this group, and we talked with Trisha at the open of the show. Can you maybe sort of, it's maybe a tough question, but like describe sort of generally speaking the type of team that you guys have and kind of what you've seen out of this group, because there are a lot of them back, a lot of you guys back, but there are a lot of new faces as well that are all going to be key.
Yeah, I think we are a team, kind of like KK said, we're full of a lot of different personalities, but I think they all gel together well. I think we kind of, we're competing at the same time, like we're in practice, when we're in practice, but I think we are ready to come together. And this team, I always say we're a team full of a bunch of goofballs. Like, we're always playing around, having fun, and I think that's going to translate onto the field. Like, when we're playing, we're going to be loose, and we're going to have fun. So I think we're going to be a fun team to watch this year for sure.
Mya, would you say when you see, and you guys were loose at times for sure last year too, would you say when you see other teams being loose, I mean, that if they see you guys being loose, that can be kind of a mental advantage for you, don't you think?
Yeah, honestly, like, just stepping on the fields, playing with these girls, like, everything is just in a great spot right now. And I'm just ready for tomorrow, honestly.
Right. Well, it's almost here. So
yeah.
appreciate you guys coming, and we'll see you tomorrow at Davis Diamond. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mya Perez and Kennedy Powell. Aggie softball tomorrow, as we said, kicks it off at 4:30 against ACU. We'll take a break, come back, and wrap up this edition of the Aggie Diamond Hour after this. This is Aggie softball from Learfield. Wrapping up this inaugural edition of the Aggie Diamond Hour. Again, a reminder tomorrow right here, 7 o'clock. Michael Early will join Andrew Monaco for the Aggie Diamond Hour baseball edition. They get one more week before they have to start.
I'm excited to watch.
Yes.
I mean, I love baseball, so I think I'm excited to watch them get on they got, kids that were injured last year. They're healthy this year, and I think that's going to make a big difference.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, I'm excited too. We'll be watching from Clearwater.
There we go.
Over there for the Clearwater Invitational. That leads me to one of the things I wanted to ask you was the schedule that you put together for this group. And you talked early, I'm paraphrasing you, but you basically said something like, I think we're going to have to learn about ourselves early. And you do that with a pretty rough schedule in Clearwater. Palm Springs is wild. You've got like 2 or 3 top 10 teams there as well. And, of course, number 1 Texas Tech coming here. So before we talk about the Tech matchup, what you've always done this, but your theory behind just throwing your team into the fire in these elite tournaments.
Yeah. First of all, I thank Coach Harger. Sometimes I thank him and also don't thank him for these schedules. But I think our philosophy is just being able to continually put ourselves in high-pressure moments. I think that's huge for us. I think, figuring out how we're going to respond in hostile environments, because every SEC conference series, it's going to be hard. There is no off weekend. And so it's really important for us to be able to handle that and be able to stay focused and understand what we're about and what makes us tick. But also, if I came here to be part of a program that is always, competing for a national championship, then you have to play really good teams, because at the end of the day, you have to beat them. And so I think that's what's, always our philosophy is let's figure it out. Let's figure out the pieces that, work really well, and then maybe some pieces that we need to work on.
Yeah, and I think if you look, I know you don't look at rankings, but if you look at the rankings, I think it shows the respect that you guys have built into the program, right? So if from the outside looking in, someone might say, oh, well, they lost in the regional last year, and they lost Emily Kennedy, and Mac Barbara's not there anymore, and Amari Harper's gone. But everybody's got you guys in the top 15, which I think is a fair ranking. I mean, I really think based off of what you have coming back, and I think that speaks to kind of what you built.
Yeah, and I think it just speaks to people understanding, and the voters, which whoever that may be, they understand of what some of our pieces really have the ability to do. And I think when we met with most of them here this hour, but what KP, like, she can just start a rally, like her job is to get on. KK had a really, really good year as a freshman, right? To just come in and hit a quiet, double-digit home run. Like, what? Like you said, Mya hit over 400 in our conference. That's crazy. Yeah. And now we get AK. We get to insert AK, who her freshman year at Florida hit well over 300. Had some home runs. She has the ability to drive the ball off the wall. And she's just somebody that I think just brings, she's kind of a glue kid, and so I think people realize that. And then you add in Talon and Mick. You got some good pieces right there. So I think everybody's trying to figure out what that really is going to look like. Yeah.
We just got a few minutes left, so I don't mean to overlook the other teams in the tournament, because as we talked about, Abilene Christian, who you start with tomorrow, you beat them 1-0 last year. This is a team that is used to, and they're playing OU and Texas and A&M. They're not afraid of A&M. Utah State was up 5-3 in the 6th inning last year. You end up winning the game 11-5. But my point is Providence, they're challenging opponents. But I want to get to the Texas Tech game, because that's obviously the one that everybody circled. I call it sort of a traveling all-star team, unfortunately, at this point. But getting to bring number 1 in, and, of course, Texas Tech with the regional draw here. You are clearly going in to win the game, but there's other intangibles you're looking at too, right? Like how the team's reacting when number 24 steps in the circle, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think for us, it's really getting us ready for conference play. Our conference is really hard. I think in our conference, it's like 2, 3, and 4 all in our conference as well. And so, what really is the difference between 1 and 2? It's the execution of small plays and big moments. And so we're going to have some opportunities for us to be able to execute big things in small moments, or small things in big moments. And I think that's really what I want us to go through. I think going through some challenges and just going out there and playing ball. At the end of the day, they put on their uniform just the way we put on our uniform, and let's rendezvous. Let's go. I think I love to compete, so
I know.
Let's
and
get after it.
Definitely get a chance to do that there.
Yeah.
That's going to be a wild atmosphere for that one, 4:30 on Saturday. And then Bucky McMillan at 7:30 across the street against Florida. How about that? That's a nice little day there.
We did move it so that fans could, enjoy. It might have been somebody's suggestion that's sitting up here.
I believe it's your sport admin that came up with that as well. Yeah, just quickly, your point about the SEC. I was talking to somebody like, oh man, we didn't get Tennessee this year. We didn't get Florida. But you got Texas, who won the national title. You got Oklahoma, which is sort of the gold standard of programs, and even the other, South Carolina, I think, was in a super regional. You got to go there. LSU. I mean, there's no easy path.
There is no such thing as you missed X, Y, and Z. Because guess what? There's another X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Hey, really appreciate the time. Thank you so much. And we'll see you tomorrow at Davis Diamond.
Yeah, let's get after it.
All right. Trisha Ford, the Aggies will kick off the 2026 season tomorrow at 4:30 against the Abilene Christian Wildcats. 7 o'clock, Utah State, and then the rest of the schedule for the weekend. 4:30 on Friday against Providence. That's at Aggie Meal Pack we were talking about. You can get that information at 12man.com/promotions. Number 1, Texas Tech, 4:30 on Saturday. If you don't have a ticket for it, sorry, they're gone. So you might have to talk to some people or see if you can catch something outside. And then 9:30 a.m. on Sunday against Providence to wrap up the tournament. Aggies aren't home again until February 26th, so we hope we have some huge crowds. The weather's going to be incredible out there at Davis Diamond. See everyone out there. All right, thanks to AK, KP, KK, and Mya for joining us up here, and for our producer Derek Wood back at Jeff City, for Kevin Menchow, the engineer here in Rudy's. This is Matt Simon. We will talk to you again next time. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you at Davis this weekend. You've been listening to Texas A&M Softball from Learfield.